everyone. Today we'll be diving into an important topic in Python, exception handling. As you all know, errors are an inevitable part of program. They occur when something goes wrong in your code, and without a way to handle them, our program could crash. This is where exception handling comes into play. It allows us to deal with errors in a controlled way so our programs can continue running smoothly even if something goes wrong. By the end of this session, you will understand how to catch and handle errors in Python, preventing your programs from crashing unexpectedly. So, what is exception handling? Let's start by defining what exception handling is. Exception handling is a method of responding to runtime errors in your program. Instead of allowing an error to cause your program to crash, you can catch it and decide how to handle it. Whether you want to fix it, report it, or simply continue executing the program. In short, exception handling gives you more control over how errors are managed in your code. So there are some common Python exceptions. Python provides a variety of built-in exceptions that you will commonly encounter while writing the code. Here are some of the most common ones. The first one is zero division error. This occurs when you attempt to divide a number by zero, like 1 by 0, 2 by 0, 3 by 0. This will raise a zero division error. Next one is file not found error. This happens when you try to open a file that doesn't exist. Whereas the third one, value error. This is raised when an operation or function receives an argument that has the right type but an inappropriate value. That means you will be using int as a word. Inside the parenthesis, you will be writing the string as hello. This will raise a value error. Now let's look at how to handle these errors using Python's try except statement. Here you can see the try block. The try block lets you write the code that may raise an exception. And the except block lets you define how to handle the exception if it occurs. Here's the basic syntax, try, where the code that might cause an error. You do have a except some exception, code to handle the error. The try block contains the code that might raise an exception. The except block specified what to do when the exception occurs. You can choose a specific exception to catch, or you can use a general except to catch all the exceptions. So let's look into the example. Now let's take a real example and see how we can handle a zero division error. Imagine we want to divide two numbers, but what if the second number is 0? Dividing by 0 will cause an error. Here's a code without exception handling. You can see this. I have taken a variable called num1. In that num1, I'm storing 10. Whereas I do have a second variable that is num2. In that num2, I'm storing a value called 0. Okay. So I'm taking one more variable called result. Inside the result, I'll be dividing num1 by num2. So that means 10 by 0. So obviously, if you divide 10 by 0, you can face a error like this. This error, we call it as a zero division error. If we run this code, it will crash with the error message that is zero division error, division by 0. But we can handle this better using the exception handling. So in the second code, you can observe that handling zero division error by with try and except method. Let's now add an exception handling to this code. This will prevent the program from crashing and let us print a friendly message instead. So this is the modified code with exception handling. So here I have used the try and except method. In the try, I have written the code that might cause an error by using the num1. In the num1, I'm storing the value 10. I have given the one more variable called num2. In that num2, I have stored the value that is 0. Same thing for I'm taking one more variable called result. And in that result, I'm mentioning that num1 should be divided by num2. That means 10 by 0. As we all saw that this will raise a zero division error, right? So like this, it will cause the error. So to avoid this error, I'm using the except zero division error. Here, I have written a code to handle this error by using a simple print function by saying error, you can't divide by 0. Okay. So this try block contains the division operation, which could raise a zero division error. If an error occurs, the program jumps to the except block. The except division error block catches the specific error and print error you can't divide by 0. Instead of crashing the program, it will just print a line error you can't divide by 0. So this will be the end of the topic. Thank you.